Um, but here's the thing. Who is to say what is a success in life? You know? What are you happy with? That's all that matters. So when you look at all the successful brands and companies out there, you will find zero founder who said, I only work 40 hours a week and I went home and I spent time with my family and I did that and that and that and that. None. Everybody has sacrificed so much to build a great brand, a great company. But hey, that's a personal choice. So that, and then after me selling my company and feeling empty and whatnot, do I do things differently now? Answer is yes. But the thing is, I'm at a different stage of my life. If I went back to 1999, if I went back to when I was 25, 26 years old, I would not do anything different, actually.
Thank you so much for coming and speaking to us. We really appreciate it. You talked about how your mom saw success in utilizing EQ over IQ. I was wondering if you could just go into that and like what that looks like.
Yeah, so there's intelligence comes in many different forms, right? So I think our current society just focuses on being smart and intelligent on a very not superficial, but on test grades and like the way a person speak, like how does one articulate themselves, or how does one memorize things and just can spit out information out of their mouth. I think a lot of people look at that and like think that is the only intelligence that dominates everybody. So in my family, there's 5 members in my family. My dad and my sister and my brother are incredibly what they would call intelligent. They have over 150 IQ. All 3 of them have over 150 IQ, and they have the ability to kind of like read a page of a book and then just memorize it and recite it. My mom and I, on the other hand, we have a very average IQ. I think the highest IQ that I have ever tested in my life is about 120. I cannot for life of me memorize anything, but I'm a very visual person. And my mom's like that too. And guess who the 2 people, who the moneymaker, the person who brings the bacon on the table, make it rain. It's my mom and I, actually. And I think what it is when you're running a business, your business is not run. There is no one approach to business. Like you have to be such a flexible person and you just have to be a problem solver. And everybody like has like these amazing like business advices and stuff like that too. And there's business theories, business advice, and business like strategy and everything. There is no one rule that's going to apply and work on different people, different types of businesses. Like you just have to navigate and be flexible and just go with the flow. It's just so many different types of situation that if you're not somewhat of a creative person and a flexible person, then it is really hard to succeed in a business.
Great questions. Keep them going. Raise your hands.
Thanks for your time today. I was wondering, now that you're successful and you can enjoy the fruits of your labor a little bit, are you a happier person than when you were 30 and working in the weeds?
No, money does not make you happy. I'm a happier person now, not because I have more money and I have more finance, but I'm happier now because I found joy within me, and that has nothing to do with my net worth or something. Does money help? It does, actually. It does. Just because money is not makes my life entirely happy, am I just gonna give it all away? No, I'm not. But money does not make a person happy, and the reason that I found happiness in my life is because I learned how to detach greed and ego from the wealth that I have. So I'm a very generous person, actually. So what I learned also, and this is the life rule, the person who give is truly the receiver. I've learned to give a lot. I learned to share a lot, and I continue to do so. And I look at finance as I'm just a custodian of it. So the fact is, we're all gonna die one day. Die one day, and am I gonna take anything when I die? I'm not. So actually, and I don't have any family or children. So actually, 100% of my net worth is going to be donated. So I just look at it as a custodian. Hi again.
In your second and third businesses, did you bring on another team member from the start, and why or why not?
Yeah, actually, I have a lot of my old team member from this company who's at my company right now, and they're all shareholders at my new company. And I really like these people are amazing because they know the industry inside and out. And what it is like you get in the flow. Like you know what you have to do is when you start a business and you start building your whether with your business partner or your team member, you will see some people you kind of like click and then you get in the flow. Like you know each other. Like you could finish each other's sentence and like you know what they're thinking without even having a conversation. And you just get in that flow. And like when you find people you could get in that flow with, you keep them. They're the greatest assets. Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. My question is, so you grew up in an entrepreneurial family and you were immersed with that like business world and you know all the business languages and stuff. But do you have any advice for someone who know nothing about business and like just like has no background in business who still wants to build like a business? Like especially like when your peers are like they all act like they know what they're doing and they like like they're all building startups, but you are just feeling am I like if I do that will I be doing the right thing or like if I will I fail for that kind of thing? Like do you have any advice for like
don't be afraid of failure. I think David posted something about the Spence founder. I think that was like Sarah Blakely. That video, I think is one of the greatest videos that is out there, how her parents her father taught her to fail every day. Like, don't be afraid of the failure. Like, why are you afraid of the failure? People are afraid of the failure because, number one, that is your ego too, right? Why are you afraid of failure? Because, well, you're going to be embarrassed, you're going to lose money, like all these reasons, and those are like all your ego speaking too. Why can we not say, okay, I tried it, I failed it, fine, let's move on. So when I started my business, my my mom was the first person who's invested in my company, and I was young, and she gave me a great advice. She said, she wrote me a check, and she said, okay, do whatever you want to do, and if you fail, it is better to experience and have that failure when you're young than when you're older. When you're young, you got nothing to lose. You had nothing to begin with, so you got nothing to lose. You have no family to support. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have mortgage to pay for. You don't have to worry about that. So if you're gonna fail, it's the greatest time to fail. But just make sure you learn from it, and you don't make the same mistake twice. So don't worry about it. If you believe in yourself, and if you say, I'm okay to fail, then that's gonna take you a long way.
Good advice.
In the middle. Okay.
You started Mix by yourself, but when was it that you felt it was a good time to start bringing in other people? And when you did, what sort of people did you look for?
Yeah, so the first time I brought somebody on board was a year after I started the company, and I brought on a salesperson because I knew I wasn't a good salesperson. So one thing that you have to do as an entrepreneur is every single person, we all have things that are great about us, things that we're just okay at, things they're really not good at or really don't want to do. So like identifying what am I really good at, what am I like so okay at, and what am I really bad at. And then what you want to do is you do what you're really good at. That's where you spend all your energy. And then you go and find people to do things for you where you're not good at and have them do that stuff.
What did you feel like was your steepest learning curve entering the cosmetics business?
Deepest learning curve in cosmetic business? Oh my God, deepest learning curve in cosmetic business. Not just the cosmetic business, but as a older person launching a new company in this modern day and age, my biggest learning curve is that I don't know TikTok. All of the brands these days get either made, like they literally get made or like get torn down on TikTok. For instance, there's a brand that is called Makeup by Mario. I don't know, this went out in press release yesterday. So this is a company that was started in 2020. And so what, 2.5 years now, right? Like not even 3 years. Close to doing almost $100 million in revenue in that short period of time. And they had just raised $40 million from 2 investors in less than 3 years. Something like this could only happen on TikTok, and the fact that I don't know TikTok is my biggest learning curve. And it's to be an older person coming into a space that is dominated by younger people like you guys. So literally, it is your world now. Literally, you guys grew up on the platform.
Can you talk more about your foundation and what inspired you to create it?
My foundation, Toni Ko Foundation. Number one is a vehicle for me to give back. It's very important to give back again. Through my foundation, I have made contribution to LACMA, Los Angeles, the museum, the LA museum, because I think art is very important. Something that I am launching pretty soon is a scholarship program at Spirit Rock, the meditation center, because I think it is just such an amazing vehicle. And if anybody wants to experience it, then my foundation would actually support their stay at Spirit Rock. So I have the foundation so I could do things like that, and I want to do more of these things. I mean, our lifespan, the human lifespan has gotten so much longer. I may be on this planet for another 50 years, totally possible. So I want to take those 50 years to give back to this world that has given me so much, and having the foundation gives me more power to do that. Because what you do with foundation is, this is like where money talk comes into, where you need to be fluent in money. So when you set up a foundation, right, you're not like giving away the money that is in the foundation. What you do is you invest the money that you set aside in your foundation in a fund, and your fund is going to generate income. Say it's generating 5% income. Then what you do is, and when you have a foundation, it's tax benefit. So you're not paying the full, there's some tax you have to pay, but it's not the full tax. So what happens is you have more money to give away. That's kind of that's why people set up foundations.
So I just want to say thank you so much for coming tonight and talking to us. I really appreciate it. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about why you decided to join your family business, and maybe for some of us who are deciding whether to join the family business or not, any advice that you would give us.
Yeah, so I did not decide to join the family business. I was forced to join the family business. It's the typical immigrant story. So I was at like 14, 15 years old, and I went to work. I went to work in the family business every weekend, every after school, summer vacation. We never took vacation. I think the first 7 years we didn't take vacation, and I just worked my entire life. And family business, I think it can be amazing, but it can be detrimental to the family members as well. It depends on the personality. I have friends who do amazingly in their family business, and I have friends who really struggle in their family business too. So it really depends on your personality, and it depends, like everybody has a different narrative on that. But if you could be in a very cohesive relationship, I think, to carry on the legacy and everything, I think it's an amazing thing to do, but different narrative for everybody.
You talked a lot about detaching your ego from failures from money. So how would you say is the best way to go about killing your ego, which is essentially something you build up your entire life?
Meditation again. I keep bringing up meditation. It is an amazing way to have that. But I think a lot of it is just like life experience. I don't think it is something that you could say, okay, I'm gonna go and kill my ego, so I'm just gonna do it right now. I think it happens naturally, and that too. Again, I sound like those Instagram spiritual person, but when the universe is ready to kill your ego, the universe will kill your ego. Yeah.
Again, thank you.
Hi. Yeah, hi. Yes.
Hi, again, thank you so much for being here. My mom and I are actually planning on doing the same silent meditation that you mentioned here in San Francisco. Yes. So before you mentioned that Nix being a global brand is something that you didn't really see in the beginning when you first started as a company. So what was your initial vision for the company when you were 25, 26 years old? And how did that kind of guide you through all of the unfamiliarities and challenges, and how did that evolve over time?
Yeah, so I did not even have like a long-term vision or anything. I knew that I just wanted to start something that I could use, and I wanted my friends to use it. And it's almost like I just got pulled without even thinking. I just got pulled, and I just got sucked into this cosmetic business. I knew that I wanted to build an amazing brand. I knew that I wanted to build a brand that was going to be global and last a lifetime. But it wasn't that kind of a long-term vision. It was a very short-term vision. At first, you know what the biggest vision is? How do I sell enough product to pay the rent? Okay, that should be your like that is like one vision, and it has to be a short-term vision. If you set up a vision that is like too long, it just seems so distant, it just seems so far away that it's not approachable. So instead of setting like a 10-year, 15-year vision, set a smaller, what is your vision in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and maybe 3 years at maximum. And then what you set up like in a long-term goal is like a distant memory, Just It's something that you have on back of your head, almost like a subconscious level, not in a conscious level. Because then you focus on that way too much, and then you're not focusing on what's right ahead in front of you.
Hi. What resources and tools did you use in the beginning to learn how to operate your business? Like you mentioned that you were the only person that was in the business, and also like being like coached about and everything. Like, did you use any advisors, mentors?
No advisor, no mentor. I did my books on a college rule book. I didn't even have a computer. I had a fax machine. We had a telephone. I had a typewriter, and that's how I started the business. And I designed my first product with a pen and a paper, and I drew it. And I just flew myself over to New York. The vendor was in New Jersey. I got on a red-eye flight on the cheapest seat that I could find. The last row, middle seat, red-eye. Got there, probably, I think it landed like at 5 a.m. something in Newark. And I didn't even want to spend money on hotel. So I just got changed at the airport bathroom. I went to the meeting and I basically just pulled out a sheet of paper and I said, this is how I want it to look and this is what I want. And that's what they made for me. And you know the thing is, like this may sound like super ancient and like unsophisticated, but when you first start your business, it doesn't have to be super sophisticated. It doesn't have to be like super methodical. Like it doesn't have to be any of that. Whatever to get it up and get it going and get started is the right way. And if you just need to draw it on a piece of paper, I guarantee you, vendors, their customers still going to vendors with a hand sketch drawing on a paper, and then the vendor's able to take that into it. Like the manufacturers are R&D. Majority of the manufacturing facility, the factories have their own R&D. Like so, a lot of the products that we see out of the market is not like a lot of the products are not proprietary ingredients or formulas. A lot of these formulas and ingredients already exist in the market through a manufacturer, the factories, and a lot of the times these factories have the R&D department. So as long as you could describe what you want and you could do like a simple basic sketch, anybody could start a product company.
Couple more.
Who has an back there?
You talked briefly about how,
Can you speak a little louder?
Yeah, you talked briefly about how you dropped out of college. So could you kind of elaborate on that? What college you went to and what were the setbacks? If you felt any setbacks from that?
Oh yeah. So I dropped out of Glendale College. So it's a 2-year college, like a junior college. And you know, like you hear about like Steve Jobs dropping out of college and like all these like amazing entrepreneurs dropping out of college. But hey, like they dropped out of like Stanford and Harvard and like all these like amazing schools. So that's a little bit of a different story, right? I'm a very unique case. So I cannot speak for other people. Because I'm like the first generation immigrant who came here without speaking English, and I was 13 years old, and I had like all these like learning disability, like not this learning disability because I had learning disability. I'm fine learning, but I just couldn't learn in a language that I didn't know, and you know I was like a pretty chaotic family life and like whatnot, but I had such a deep ingrained education prior to that, and I have always been an avid reader. So that's a little different from like most people who are kind of like in 2-year college and dropped out. So a little bit of I can't speak for other people because my story is highly unique. Anybody? Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. My question is, what are some major mistakes that you made in your 20s or the early stages of your entrepreneurial journey? And what is your biggest takeaway from it? And how has it shaped you today?
Some of my, okay, so and this is not from my first business, but this is from my current business, right? My biggest mistake is, and I'm still going through it right now, is trying to hire people to make my life easy. This is what I realized. I have been going through hiring the different CFOs and different kind of a managerial roles, and have not been successful. I went through 4 hires in 2 years, which is like a massive failure. And I really did a deep dive on why I kept hiring the wrong people for such an important role. And the answer that I had was that I was hiring people for a wrong reason. When you hire somebody, you should really hire people to add value to your company. But I was hiring people so because I could put this person in place of my everyday hours that I need to spend in the business, so I could go out and do something else. So it's the wrong intention. So what is the intention that is the most important? And that this is as a third-time entrepreneur and somebody at my age, that we never stop learning. We're forever student, and we never stop learning. And I'm still learning to these days. But the biggest learning is that everything starts with an intention, and you have to have the right intention to have the right result.
One more in the middle.
Yeah.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming to speak with us today. It's been so great to hear about your experiences and starting Nix. So my question is, I know you mentioned that you made $2.5 million in the first year of your company. How did you manage to scale your business and kind of break into an industry that's not necessarily easy to break into? And would you say that there were any values or kind of principles that you had from your upbringing and from moving from a different country that kind of helped translate into your success?
Yeah. So again, I didn't make $2.5 million. I sold $2.5 million worth of merchandise. So I think that's a very, 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 very important language that we always have to be mindful of. What I learned is from very early on, nothing beats hard work. Nothing beats hard work. People say don't work hard, you need to work smart. You need to work smart, but you need to work hard too, because if you're just working hard, there's somebody who's working hard and smart, and if you're just working smart, there's somebody who's working hard and smart. And if you're working hard and smart, there's somebody who's working harder and smarter. So you just have to give your not just 110% or 120%. You have to give 1,000% of yourself. If you want to build something that is going to be a global brand, and different context. Everybody has the context is very, very different, right? But one thing you have to really learn to do is to learn how to take criticism. It's so important, and just not being offended at everything, because when you run a business, you will be offended by everybody and everything, day in and day out. Learn not to be offended at anything, not to take things personally, and to learn to take criticism and to be okay with it, and to learn from it, because I have been criticized of some packaging designs from Ulta, actually. I'm sure you guys all have been Ulta. There was this one product that I designed, and I thought it was, oh my God, this looks so good. And I went to show it to a buyer, and then I got the nastiest email from the buyer, basically saying, is this all you can do? And oh my God, at first, my face got red, and I was sweating, and then I decided to just instead of replying that email like on the spot, I decided to just like shut off my computer, and I took some time, and I realized, and then I looked at it and I realized, you know what? It is not that good. It is my design, but it's like taking a second look, it's pretty terrible. So I worked with my design team and redid the packaging, and guess what? That item became one of the best sellers.
I want to sort of bring it back for a second to share an experience that I mentioned in the introduction that Toni is one of the most mentally resilient people I've ever met in my life, and you wouldn't know it obviously from appearances necessarily. We shared an experience last year, and this is for anyone who says detractors about social media. This is the greatest thing that social media has ever done in my life. Toni in 2021 posts a picture of boots that she's going to wear to hike Kilimanjaro in, she said, September. And so I said, oh, this is amazing. It's something I've always thought. I've been to Africa like 7 or 8 times. I've always looked at that mountain and thought maybe someday. And she just direct messages me back. We're not friends really at the time. We're acquaintances. And she says, join us. It got real very quickly, when someone says join us. I text a friend of mine who is a really experienced hiker, like 250, 300 hikes, and he says, I'm in. I got no place to go now, I'm going. So I commit to it, and a group of 8 of us, Toni arranged everything. So as nice as it could possibly be, there were a group of 8 of us, and the support crew was 64 people. Guides, porters, cooks, people that carry your stuff up the mountains. It's still, you had to climb the mountain, you still had to, your water, all those things. It was not easy. 8 days, 7 nights. And we trained for the better part of a year on local mountains. So Toni and I are the least experienced in the group. We probably have 5 to 10 hikes between 5 and 8,000 feet elevation. Kilimanjaro is just under 20. It's a big deal. And so we go over there, and like I said, the other 6 are really experienced and accustomed to it, and altitude, and doing hikes over multiple days. We prepared for a year. We all have like our gear from REI and our boots and our poles and everything you could possibly need to be on a mountain for 8 days. And Toni's gear doesn't show up. She sends it separately and it doesn't show up. So she's got to start this adventure. She has her boots, luckily, because she went on safari beforehand. I asked John, my friend who has this 300 hikes, what would you do if that happened to you? He goes, I would cry. To go on a mountain without your own clothes, your socks, your gloves, your hat. She goes into a store at the first hotel before we even start and buys everything. Everything you can buy. She's wearing like an oversized down jacket to climb Kilimanjaro. And she never let it bother her once. Not complained, not saying, oh, it'd be easier if I had my own gear. Her gear showed up the last night. They ran it up the mountain for her to get changed. She's the first person, we believe, to ever summit Kilimanjaro in full makeup. She insisted on doing that. And it was the last night. I'll show you some videos from the top. The last night is you get up at 2 in the morning and you hike. It's a 15, 16-hour day. It's about 5,000 feet of elevation gain. And then it's the hike down, and you are delirious. And I didn't really notice this about you until I looked at the videos again. Like, you're always focused on yourself because you're trying to survive. When I say this is the hardest thing I've ever done by a factor of 30, adding up everything else, it was harder than anything we've ever done. And in my mind, on the last night, in the middle of the night with a headlamp, climbing up, just basically sand and volcanic rock, just up, up, up. It really takes its toll. I'm saying, if anyone quits, I'm quitting. I'm tapping out. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever done. It's so stupid. I play sports that have quarters and innings and timers, and you know when it's going to finish. You don't know when you're going to finish this thing. And Toni, what were you thinking at the same time?
I'm thinking if Dave taps out, I'm tapping out too.
But she doesn't talk to me. I don't talk to her. We get to the top. I'll show you the video. And I mean, I looked at video of myself afterward. I did a video every night the one thing she sprung for, that was so nice, is we each got our own tent, we each got our own cot, so you had your own space, you weren't sharing it. And she also said that men and women have their own separate portable toilets all the way up. But each night I recorded a video, and you could see my face distorted. And it looked like I had, I'm not joking, like 30 years to my age. It was so horrible to watch. And so I watched these videos, and like I said, never complained. Let's see if it works actually. But if anyone ever think of climbing Kilimanjaro, here is a very happy 8 of us at the summit. This is my Instagram post. Hers is a much better photograph. This is me telling you all. I'll play a video of her getting to the top, actually, right here. Hold on, let me go into my videos. I'll give you a view of what it looks like in Mount Kilimanjaro. This is, you're above the clouds, you're above Mount Kenya by a lot. It's just all volcanic rock and sand. It's not the prettiest mountain, by the way. There are some glaciers left. But this is what it looks like when she and I were the last ones up. The crew sings and dances every time they greet you for encouragement. Toni's in the white coat. Finally, she got her coat. When you talk about an experience to share with somebody, that's our doctor. We had a doctor on the team too. Thank God for him. Because somebody in this room took a dirt nap on day 2. I passed out, cold, gone. Thank God we had a doctor. It's a lot of hugging and celebration, but like I said, I already had so much respect and admiration for you, but to see the way you handled adversity and led our group through example, it just was something that I'll always remember, but I felt transformed by it, and I wanted to share how you feel sort of before and after that, and what it meant to you in terms of what you learned about yourself.
Oh yeah, I mean, oh my God, Mount Kilimanjaro. I mean, if you guys have opportunity to do it. It's once in a lifetime experience. And really, you know how like all the sages, when you look at like old stories or testaments or like whatever, all the sages, where do they come down from? They all come down from the mountain. They go into the mountain and they come down a different person. And there's something about altitude too. You know, the thing is, it's almost like experiencing near death. It's almost like a near death experience. I think every time somebody has like a near death experience, like you just come out of it a different person. But there's 3 things that you learn on the mountain. Number 1, and this is like not just on the mountain. This is something that you could apply to your business, to your life, your friendship, your family, like everything. In Kilimanjaro, pole pole is slow. Number 2, 1 foot in front of another. And then number 3, our guide, Charles, the entire time, he said, close your mind. What does that mean? That means your mind is your worst enemy. Your mind is your worst enemy. So close your mind, and then 1 foot in front of other is 1 step at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 problem at a time, and then pole pole, slow is do everything do everything slow, but not like action slow, but know that anything that you build, a company or whatever, don't do anything in a rush. So if you do those 3 things, then you could definitely build something amazing, a great brand, a great friendship, a great love, or whatever that may be that would enhance your life so much greater.
You know, that could be a TED Talk. Yes. As I was sort of alone in my thoughts walking up, I kept saying, you know, Glennon Doyle has this podcast. I kept saying, we can do hard things. it was really hard, and it was just an experience I'll never forget. We have a student, sir, you want to come up and present Toni with a little gift on behalf of the class? Here, hold on, I'm going to videotape this.
Oh my gosh.
Go ahead.
Hi, I just want to say thank you
Oh my gosh.
from all of us, from the faculty, professor, USC, and also Hive and Wise. Thank you so much. We learned a lot from you, and yeah, thanks for being here. We're
Thank
very
you
excited.
so much.
So Hype Advice was created by a student from the class, if you don't know it. Come up, say hello if you'd like to. Let's take a quick picture for the whole class. So stand up, let's go. Let's get a quick one for your Instagram.
Okay,
Ready? Here, you put your back to them. Go ahead.
I'll go here.
Oh, nice. Nice. All right, there's a picture. Hold on. And you know what I'm going to ask for next, right? You know what I'm going to ask for. On 3, fingers up. Fight on 3. 1, 2, 3. Fight on! You know it. Have a great week. Beat the Bruins tomorrow night. Beat the Bruins.
Excuse me. The line of women
Hi. Nice meeting you.
I love to talk. I resonate